So today we have another episode of Tech Talk with MH Corbin, and we're going to be talking about the Surface Scan. All about the Surface Scan. What is it? How does it work? What does it do? So we're going to have a little unboxing video here just to show you what I'm talking about when I say the Surface Scan. This is it. It's called the SSBI, which is the Surface Scan. Okay? So this is what it looks like when it comes to you. It comes in a box like this. We'll do a little unboxing video here. So as a customer, this is what you can expect to see when you get the device. Comes this nice packaging. I think we went all out with this. Is really cool how this is packaged now. First thing you'll notice when you get the box open, we put a nice quick start guide in here for you, along with a manual. And you'll start seeing the parts. Now, if you're like me, most of the time you'll throw the manual over to the side. You might look at the quick start guide, but you'll be quick to dig in and see all the cool stuff that you've got in the box. The first thing you'll notice here, you have a lot of different cables and attachments here. We'll go through what each of these are. You have the actual Surface Scan box, which is the brain box. What you have here, what looks like a little phone, this is actually your display that the device talks to, which is your interface, what you'll be looking at in the vehicle. And then you have a series of mounts and attachments. So, quick overview. All right, now what you should do is go over here and look at your quick start guide. And this is gonna tell you, inside the box here is your road surface temperature probe, your air temperature humidity probe with cable and mount, your SSBI1 interface module and power cord, and your SS display module. So SS is Surface Scan, just so you know, and here's pictures of everything that comes in the box, which we just kind of laid out here. So let's just start. Number one, pull this out. This is your, what they used to call cigarette lighter adapter. I think nowadays the correct term is 12-volt adapter. Not everybody smokes cigarettes anymore. And this is your plug-in. So here you go. Pretty neat. Since you don't necessarily have AC, here's your USB adapter. So cigarette lighter. For reference here in the office, I'm going to simulate having it in my car, and it can actually plug into this power supply. And then we have this where you can actually plug into your USB ports, which we give you here. So we'll plug that in like so. See there? So now we have our cord plugged in for power, which I'll pull this off in a second. All right. So to get started, we have our power cord. And then we'll look here. We have a different cord. So what could this go to? Interesting. We have a sensor, and we have another sensor. If you can't identify these right off the bat, well, the first thing is this cord. Let's see if I can open this up real quick for you. This cord, can you identify what this goes to? Well, to do that, we need to pull the box out. Right away we can tell the power port and this cord look like they line up together. Sure enough, if we do this, it fits and locks into place. So there we go. So to hook this up, we know this plugs into here, just like so. Let's see if I can do this again, just like that. Okay, so now we have that plugged in. Again, I'm gonna simulate just like most people do when they pull out the box. So that means this here must be our road surface temperature probe. And the way we can tell, it's got this nice little cone that protects the sensor. See the sensor up in there? This is designed to point down toward the roadway, like so. So it points down like at my feet there. And it's designed to point down at the roadway as you're driving. And this cone protects the sensor from getting any kind of inherent, weird readings, I guess is the right word for it. So the sensor's tucked up in there nice and protected. So it can't get any kind of exhaust fumes to give it a weird temperature reading or any kind of slush or water splashing up on it to affect the reading on it. So we'll mount this outside the vehicle per se. And then the cord from this you'll notice it goes from black to gray where we extended the wire. That would plug into here, and you'll notice it says right here, surface. So that's where we plug the cord into, like so. That's plugged in. And then the next one here, this is your probe for air temperature and humidity. So let's take it out real quick. That looks like this. This bag out of the way. See how this looks? Okay, same kind of concept. Take this, plug it in, AT, air temp, and relative humidity is what RE stands for. Plug that in. So there's our sensor for that. Okay, so everything is plugged into your interface box here, power, and the two sensors, right? Okay. Lastly, we have our display. Let's see if I can do this, make it a little easier. It's always better when you have a tripod. You can actually take this out. Since this is a brand new production unit, it's going to go to a customer. I don't want to mess up the wrapping on this. So this is your display. By all intents and purposes, this is a brand new Alcatel phone that we're going to use. Now, going back to this cord I had shown you earlier, right here, if it looks familiar, it should. This is a charging cord for the phone. So what we're going to do, I'm going to untwist this really quickly. I'm going to pop this out, not all the way, just enough to plug it in here, orient this correctly, and then I'll turn on my power supply there. See that? Powered up. Okay, so we got it powered up. We'll make sure everything's plugged in good here, and it is, and immediately our phone comes on with power and our box powers up. Okay, from there you'll see this unit has been sitting in a box, brand new. It's not charged, so it's definitely gonna have to charge some. While it's charging, we'll leave that laying here. And we'll go back over to the quick start guide. And it says, after unpacking, connect the probes to the SSBI, which is the interface box, which we did. Connect power to it and plug it in a cigarette lighter, which we did. When it powers up, the LEDs will turn on, and they do. From there, connect the display, which is the phone, to the outlet, and we did. And it says when fully charged, power it on, and press the lower button on the screen. All right, well, we're at that point right now. Let's see, this thing has to power up. So at this point, we're gonna have to let that power up. I'll come back in a little bit once this thing has some power, and we'll go through the next steps, which are basically when you power it up, you'll swipe it, you'll go to unlock the screen, and you'll find this icon for the MH Corbin app, and we'll start over. Okay, I've held down the lower button here for approximately 4 or 5 seconds and release it, and then the unit starts to power up, as you see here. From there, it goes through its boot up cycle. Okay, you swipe up, and when you swipe up, you can immediately see this is the app. It's called Surface Scan. So I'm gonna click on that. And what we want to do, see it says connect, so we click our dots up here and we want to connect to the SSBI, yes. And the number on it is AAC6, which is what's on the box here. See right there, AAC6. So we say yes. So we click that and takes it a second to connect. All right, it's connected. So currently, what you'll notice here, I have the probe basically laying on the desk. It's showing a temperature in here of 79 degrees with an air temp of, surface temp of 79 with an air temp of 73.6 and a relative humidity of 49%. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the probe and I'm just gonna move it around a little bit just so you can see the difference in the temperature change for the surface. So I'm having it look at this cardboard on my desk and see how the surface temperature changed. The temperature is actually matching real close to the air temperature, okay? Before, I had it pointing at my window, which is glass for the outside. That's why the temperature was higher. So I'm gonna move it to here. The power supply is emitting more heat because it's been on for a little bit. It's a few degrees higher, see there? It's showing 75 degrees. The air temperature obviously hasn't changed. The humidity hasn't changed. Now I'm gonna turn the probe toward my window. And you see the air temp has changed. It's a little warmer facing my window, about 76 degrees out there. What you'll notice here on the bottom is also showing you in graphical form what it looks like. Okay, so that's just a quick how to connect it, how it works. I'll show you there on the screen. Now, I'll put that down here. I want to go through a couple things in the manual really quickly about the installation of this probe. I'm just going to lay it here so you can see it in the manual. So once you get through the quick start and you actually go into the manual, we'll go back to the quick start real quick because I kind of jumped ahead. This is the icon we click from the main screen. You load the app, you click the three dots at the top, you connect, and you go to here. So we just did that in the quick start, no problem. Then you get into the manual part of it, and it gives you the ins and outs of what the green light means. It means the unit is on. The red light flashing means it has a heartbeat indication. And I'll move this so you can see it. The blue LED indicates it has Bluetooth connection to the display, which it does. And then yellow flashes when data is being transferred. And you'll see every now and then it does an occasional blink. That means it's getting activity from the two sensor probes here. Okay? So everything here matches what we're seeing in the instructions. All right? So then it goes through and it tells you different things about the installation and the requirements on the device, which is already set up for you when you get it. This is what's important. It's page 10 of the manual. It gives you an idea of the probe install. And again, this is the probe. So if you're looking at it, this is this picture. And it says for every foot that you measure that you're going to mount this on the vehicle, you need to give about a 1 inch of clearance from the probe in to your vehicle, because everything it sees, it can start seeing the vehicle. So for every 1 foot, you give a 1 inch of clearance. Every 2 foot, you give a 2 inch of clearance, and so on. So the higher you go, you got to give an inch for every foot that you go up in the air. So for 5 foot up in the air from the ground, you give a 5 inch of clearance from the probe over to the vehicle. That just makes sure that you don't see in the field of view here, you're not capturing the vehicle and getting heat or anything off of the vehicle that you're trying to read off of the roadway. That's all that means in this diagram here. Okay? Moving over here to the actual instructions again. It goes through some basic just setups on it, where you can go in and actually change some settings. On page 12 here, it actually says you can go in and change your temperature default units from degrees in Celsius or Fahrenheit. You can change the sampling rate. We have it changed, or a default of 1,000 milliseconds. The chart samples here are a default at 15. The emissivity, I guess is the best way to say that. I didn't come up with that word, it's in the book, so I guess this is the reading of the material from the road surface. That is generally set to 0.95. And then the surface temperature offset here, the default is 0. The air temperature offset, the default is 0. What's really cool about this device that I like is the alerts. So you can toggle the alert. So in other words, when it hits a certain threshold, this thing will beep at you on the display. It actually beep as you're driving. It'll also change colors. So before, where you see it's blue here, it actually changed to red, which I really like, that feature. So as you're driving, you don't have to take your eyes off the road. You can actually hear an audible beep from the device as it changes. So let's say, for example, you're driving and the threshold you have set at 31 degrees. So when it drops below 32 degrees and gets to 31, this thing will turn red and beep and show you on here what the temperature is. So you know at that point, that's where the road is a freezing or a frozen type of condition. So that's really interesting. And then the next thing you can set on here is the alert sensitivity, how sensitive you want it to be from a 0 to 5 threshold. From there, we give your basics, how to manually pair it if it doesn't come up automatically, which it should. And then your basic troubleshooting, if it's not reading accurate temperature, how to go in and check the field of view to make sure you're not getting possible engine heat. If you mounted this near the front of the engine for some reason, or near the exhaust pipe, for example, or even near a wheel where it could be kicking off some slush from snow or ice, that can all affect the reading of the device. Basically from there, the maintenance, it's pretty much maintenance free. If it gets dirty or anything like that, you can just clean it with soap and warm water. As far as the road sensor, which is this one, for the air temp and humidity sensor probe, which is this, you can clean it with soap and water. You just don't want to force any water down into this fabric here. So you don't want to use any kind of like high pressure to clean it. Just normal soap and water on it will clean it just fine. And then the display itself, just like you would clean your phone, just a soft cloth and maybe some spray or something just to clean it real gentle, just like you would your phone. So same type of material to use, it would clean it just fine. From there, I want to talk about the elusive, I call this you've heard about it, but you've never seen it. Almost like making a joke here about Bigfoot, the Bigfoot edition, because this is the spreader control option. And I say that because the surface scan's been around for almost 2 years now. And this is the first one you're seeing with this RS-232 adapter on the side. So you're seeing it for the first time right here. This is a real thing. This is the Bigfoot model. Sasquatch, you've seen it. It's a real thing. Look at there. It's an RS-232 adapter. Now what that does, it actually allows you to use this device if you have a truck with spreader control. So it'll take the information, and it's listed right here on page 16 of the manual, and you can output information from this device for your spreader control. So for the display of spreader control, for example, if you're seeing things such as surface temperature, air temperature, humidity, you can get that information here. We can output it to the display. So when you see that, then you can make a decision if you want to activate your spreader control or not. This is a feature we were asked about in the beginning, and we have enough demand for it now that we added it to the Surface Scan. And now you can get that as standard equipment on the Surface Scan. So going forward, all the Surface Scans are going to have this feature on them, but you're seeing it here first. Really cool feature. I didn't really talk about it at first. I wanted you to see what a normal Surface Scan looks like if you've seen these at our trade shows or through one of our dealer networks. But this is the new Surface Scan with the RS-232 spreader control added to it. Again, what it does, it allows you to send the information about what's going on with the roadway to a spreader control display, so you can actually see what's happening. And then you as the operator can make a decision if you want to activate your spreader control or not. So really cool stuff. Again, this is designed to mount anywhere in your vehicle, under the seat or behind the seat or whatever's convenient. We made a really small package. It's a really lightweight device. The hardest part here is just running the probes outside. Obviously, this has to go outside of the cab. Most people mount it over on the outside of the mirror, so it points straight down. You can also mount it out on the bumper and have it point straight down so it gets the most accurate signal of the roadway. And then your humidity sensor here, you can mount this pretty much anywhere. It can be out on the mirror or somewhere on the top of the cab or anything like that, just to get a good clean signal for that. These are the only two things that have to actually go outside of the cab. Everything else would mount inside of the vehicle, which is this box and your display. And your display obviously doesn't need a cord. You can have a cord hooked to it all the time if you'd like, but you can actually fully charge it, then have it up for your display, and then when you leave the vehicle, you can actually pop this out so it doesn't stay in the vehicle if you're concerned about it just being in the vehicle all the time. We give you different mounts. So this is a magnetic type of mount. So I'll flip this over. The way this works, we give you different ways of attaching this to the vehicle. So you can actually get these different mounts with the 3M adhesive tape. So it'll stay in your vehicle like this. And then you can hook these up, different attachments. We also give you mounts to hook up your probes, such as this, and attach these to the vehicle. So we try to give you different attachments, universal type of attachments, to get these hooked up and make it easy for you to use the product. So if any questions on this, just let me know, but I wanted to kind of go through what the Surface Scan is, how it works, what it's used for. It's a really cool device for measuring road temperature. And let me see if I can pull this open here just so you can see it up close. We have a really cool little manual here. It's kind of convenient. But let's see, our official thing here is the Surface Scan is a mobile weather sensor designed to be mounted to a vehicle. The sensor monitors road surface temperature, air temperature, relative humidity, and dew point, and displays live readings using a dash-mounted graphical display. So there you go. If you have any questions, let us know. Again, here's our contact information. Visit us on the website, mhcorbin.com. You can call the number 1-800-380-1718, and we'll be happy to answer any questions for you on it. But we have these in stock. They work really well during the winter months. Currently it's September. It's 70 plus degrees outside, so not a lot of call for these. However, when I say that, if you're a paving company or a striping company, this could also be used all during the year, because you need to know what the surface temperature is when you get ready to do your striping on the roadway. So this could be used during the summertime. They're just more popular in the wintertime when you're doing any type of road treatments. And that's really what this was born for. But it absolutely can be used by paving companies, striping companies throughout the year. So just to give you an idea, this is a device. It's really neat. I like it. It's really simple to put together and power it up. And again, it's designed to run off 12 volts. We give you everything you need as a package to put it together with universal mounts and make it fit in your vehicle. So if any questions, just give me a call. Be happy to help.